Wait, what? Oh, not the droid cam.
The droid cam?
No, I don't want that.
No, we don't want no sticking here. Get the droids out of here.
Where is... Oh, I guess I need to start droid cam.
What are you doing?
It's the wrong... No, you know what? Will I be able to do it from here? No, I don't. I can't. Great.
What's wrong? Are you in my computer?
Where is...
קודם כל, לדעתי זה שאומרים עם, מה זה עם?
Moderation? No, come on now. Edit. It says webcam. Why is it not this? Okay.
שאנחנו מיוחדים. אנחנו עובדים ביחד. כמו משהו אחד.
All for one and one for all.
באמת אומרת שאנחנו יותר. וגם הם. אני חושבת שזה מסר לאנשים באיראן.
המסר מנסה להעביר שאם נתאחד ביחד, אז אנחנו נהיה חזקים.
שאנחנו כעם חזקים ביחד. וגם לדעתי גם שהאיראנים.
Okay. Just a second. All right. Am I live? Yes, I am. Hey there. All right. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know. I actually wanted to use a different webcam, but YouTube. Okay, hang on a second. Wait a minute, I'll try and get this a bit higher up. Ah, come on. Okay. There we go. All right, good. So you see me, you hear me, hooray. Perfect. Can you hear me? Can you see and hear? That's the question. Is there... Oh, well, what do you say, people? Can you see me and hear me? Both. Good. Thank you, Faye. I don't know what the other characters are, but thank you. Okay, so a few people are here. Robert is here. Hello. You know what? I'll just go down a bit on this chair. Okay. Oh, wow. It's been in and out of bomb shelters since Friday. Not for the first time, but this time feels... Well, obviously it feels different. I've been hearing about Israel is going to attack Iran for something like 30 years or more. And for the Israelis, us, to actually do it, that's... Well, it's something massive. It's major. It really, really is. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's some sort of historical, I don't know what, because what do I know? People smarter and more knowledgeable than I have made these sort of dramatic and bombastic statements, and I tend to agree with them. It's quite a crapload of history that we're living through right now. It's difficult to read the name anyway. Okay, so Faye works. How are you, Faye? Where are you from? What are you doing? Where are you at? How did you end up on the channel? Now wait, what camera am I I'm over there. Yes, okay. How am I hanging in? I'm hanging in. It's difficult to get up a few times every night recently and go to the bomb shelter. Um, Especially difficult with a family. But I give thanks and praises because we are all healthy and well, all things considered. So if all I need to really deal with is a lack of sleep, a disruption to the routine, and a bit of irritation from the family and on my own part, then that's that's okay. It really is okay. You're from Greece. Good. I've never been. I do want to go to Greece at some point. I found you on Aaron Abke's channel, if I recall correct. I don't know Aaron Abke. Maybe I left a comment there on something. I don't know. But the name of the channel doesn't ring a bell. What sort of a channel is it? I'm curious. Robert asks, "What do y'all do in the bomb shelters? Listen to music?" Wait, hang on. Well, I suppose if it was just me and the family in the bomb shelter, then sure, we could listen to music. But since it's basically the building and all of the surrounding neighbors congregating in one area, it would be kind of a jerk move to listen to music, at least without headphones. And I can't really listen with headphones because I got to pay attention to the kids. So no music, at least not at this time. But that is a good, people do all kinds of things to pass the time. People play games, people listen to music. Depending on your family situation, it could be you're simply alone in the bomb shelter, and so you can do whatever you want. Is following the Nazarene way. Well, Nazarene, common mistake. Nazarene means of Nazareth, geographical location, but a Nazarite means someone who has taken on the vow of a Nazarite. And that is a vow, right? A biblical vow. And a lot of Christians get that wrong because Jesus presumably was from Nazareth and he was called a Nazarene, and some say he took the Nazarite vow, and so Nazareth, Nazarene, Nazarite all it gets mixed up together. But yes, they mean different things. So no, I don't listen to music. I'm basically just trying to. That's fine. I'm basically trying to be there for the kids. That's what I'm there for. And you, and be there for you. Or you're also there for the kids. I'm there for you as well. Yes, and I'm there for my woman. Incidentally, we had our 22nd wedding anniversary just yesterday. It was, we didn't really do anything other than go in and out of the bomb shelter. So hopefully maybe we'll definitely get to celebrate it another time, and I don't know, maybe something like that. Yeah. Nazareth didn't exist in Yeshua's era. Nazareth didn't exist. Nazareth didn't exist. Was the town there under a different name? Because I do remember. Right, Nazrat is from the root nun tzadiresh, natzar, meaning to keep or to hold or to guard, lintzor. It's also why Christians in Hebrew are called notzrim, and why Jesus is called Yeshu HaNotzri. And it doesn't necessarily mean from Nazareth, but I know that that's the more common interpretation of Notzri, at least as far as the Christians are concerned. So it didn't exist as a town. So if he's not from Nazareth, see, people who read the New Testament, you tell me, is Nazareth mentioned by name as I mean, I know that they say that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, but taught first in the Galilee, grew up there. I don't know. I know that there's a time lapse, right? There's a time skip at some point in the New Testament where Jesus goes from age X to Y. And I know that they say he was born in Bethlehem, right outside, 20 minutes away from here, or 25 minutes away from here. But that he was mainly preaching in the Galilee area up north and came to Jerusalem to observe the different holidays, as is tradition, as is halacha, as is the law. But hang on a second. Nazareth, Nazareth, Nazareth is mentioned. The question is it the same Nazareth? Hang on, you know what? I'll just Google it quickly. Google's AI says, archaeological evidence and historical texts confirm that Nazareth did exist during the time of Jesus, a small and relatively insignificant village. So, okay, I mean, if you go with what AI says, at least, like, at face value, it means that Nazareth was around at the time. Maybe it wasn't as well known, wasn't as developed, but according to just a straight up Google search, it was there. Feel free to contradict me, I might be wrong. AI might be wrong, of course. It's a later edition, I believe he was from the area of Galilee. Right, so that's what I remember reading in my one and only reading of the New Testament, that he was born in Bethlehem, but was basically active a lot in the north part of Israel and in Jerusalem. So, right, in the kingdom, right, the kingdom of Judea in the north and southern areas of it. Let's see, is it already the summer season in Greece? War Thunderista asks. To which Faye replied, oh yeah, for sure. I am a summer person. I love summer. I really, really do. Okay, cool. So right, that's why Nazareth, Nazarene, Nazarite are mixed up, but they each mean different things. Robert says, I heard the Iranian people love Israel. I don't know if they love Israel. I've been told, again, people told me things might be wrong. I've been told that the Iranians, many of them long to be rid of the radical extremist Islamic Republic regime, and they want to go back to being more moderate, more secular, more modern, or if not more secular, then more modern. And that doesn't that those things can be mutually exclusive. They don't have to be. They don't have to be the same, or they don't have to be together, right? Grouped together. I try. I really, really try. Whether it's in the case of the war with Gaza, whether it's the war with Iran, to differentiate between the people and the government, right? The people and the regime. In some cases, it's more difficult than others, and I have only my own narrow view of the situation. So I simply know what I'm seeing, right? And once again, as I say very, very frequently, by the time it reaches my eyes, by the time it reaches me, it's already propaganda, meaning that there's agenda behind it, there's some sort of narrative behind it. I'm being spoon-fed something in order to swallow it. And this is where discernment and critical thinking can be paramount. And alas, I do have the capacity to think critically, and I do have the desire to discern and have a nuanced conversation. And sometimes it's almost impossible, almost. Seeing as how I am here living through it, I'm definitely biased, right straight out the gate. And I can say without a doubt that it's difficult for me to discern. It's difficult for me to be biased. It's difficult for me to have a nuanced conversation. Try as hard as I might, and I do. It's very, very difficult living through it, going through the experiences that I have. This is someplace, right, where lived experience counts for a lot. Should I stop? Babe? Should I stop? Am I interrupting him? Am I too loud? Okay, so maybe I'll sleep soon. Okay, no. Oh, is that the little one? I thought it was the bigger one. Okay. The kids' sleep schedule is all. I think it was Leo as well. The kid sleeps. Okay, well, both of them are up then. The kid's sleep schedule is all over the place, as is ours. But we are well and healthy, and we have a bomb shelter to go to. Unlike, let's say, in Gaza, where Hamas decided instead of investing in infrastructure and protecting its people, but using them as human shields at every level. And that includes not building tunnels or bomb shelters for the people, but for the Hamas fighters, because they have their priorities, and their people are not a priority to them. The more bodies of innocent civilians, the more Hamas propaganda there is to spoon feed the West, and the East, for that matter, the world. What is it like taking care of kids during a war? Says Robert, or asks Robert. It is intense, and look, there have been times when there was a military operation and I was in reserve duty, so the entire burden fell on my woman. And I've been discharged in recent years from reserve duty, and so now I'm experiencing things a lot more as a civilian. And um, it's difficult, not insurmountable in our case, because it goes on a case by case basis. But it's very difficult, and it can be highly stressful. But I have faith in our ability to weather this storm, like many others before it, and I have faith in our military and in our intelligence agencies and our leaders. I don't know what the hell is going on with our leaders, but I do have faith in our military and in the armed forces and intelligence personnel. I really don't know what to say about the leadership. I don't know what to say about the politicians. As I said, I have a very small view of the situation. I'm just a regular, John Q dumbass in the Middle East. So what do I know? But it's, like I said, difficult but not insurmountable to take care of kids during a war. At least in this case, it's challenging but doable. It's challenging but doable. It helps if you have a partner, of course. Robert says, just read in Chronicles where David took the shields of gold and silver and dedicated them to God, and the Syrians became his servants. Well, not the Syrians, Assyrians. Not Syria, but Ashur. So that's a different story. Yes. Later on, the king, which one was it? Was it Chizkiah? Later on, one of the kings of Judah took those shields and offered them as a bribe or payment to, who was it? Was it the king? Anyway, to a different king, right? So he'll come and was it the king of Babylon? I think Chizkiah paid off Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon in order to stave off an attack. I don't recall. Was it Assyria? Was it Babylon? One of the kings of Judah later on in Chronicles, later on in the book of Kings, he takes those shields and he basically passes them on. I don't remember whether it's payment or whether it's protection or what's going on there, but at some point they are taken out and given. Mossad is very good. Yes, so I hear and so I see. And in the it's difficult sometimes to grasp how Mossad and Shabak and the army and the different intelligence agencies can do so much from so far away and makes these surgical, precision strikes, right? Down to the level of a bedroom in a building in between floors where it goes straight in and assassinates a dude and the rest of the building doesn't even feel it, doesn't fall, I mean. And then on the other hand, we have a group like Hamas hiding among the population, using the population and with all of its might, the IDF currently, because it wants to protect the civilian population and not just carpet bomb everything. It's still, I mean, soon enough it'll be 2 years. What is it, a year and 8 months now? Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul. Yes, yeah, a year and 8 months or so of war in Gaza. May it be over. May the hostages return. May Hamas be completely 100% eradicated and Israel dictate peace on its terms. Just like with Iran, the negotiation table, diplomacy is eventually what will bring peace. But Israel needs to come at these negotiations from a strong place, from a place of victory, decisive victory. Otherwise, it's not for naught, but otherwise it's just one war in a cycle that continues. And I want this to be the last war with Iran. I want this to be the last war in Lebanon. I want it to be the last war in Syria. I want it to be the last war in Gaza. I want it to be the last that we will hear of the Palestinian Authority as it is right now in Judea, in Samaria. I want us to live side by side in peace and harmony, God willing. But it won't happen if the extreme Islamists have their way. It simply is not the case. It won't happen. But if Israel toughens up in the home front and in the and on the war front, and we are able to achieve victory, decisive victory, then we will be able to come at it from a much better place and make peace, like we did with Jordan, like we did with Egypt, like we tried to do in the Oslo Accords, the beginning, or it wasn't the beginning, but it was a major part of the peace process. And even though Oslo blew up in our faces, literally, even though Oslo blew up in our faces, at the time, as I love to say, it was the one time, only time, where there was a feeling in the air. The air was charged, like electrically charged with peace, with the idea of peace, the hope for peace, the prayer for peace. It was in the air. You could feel it, you could taste it, and it went to hell very quickly. But nevertheless, Rabin was there, Clinton was there, and Yasser Arafat was there, and they shook hands on the lawn there. It's too bad that the governments, regimes, and leaders on both sides have made such horrible mistakes. Israel controls Tehran airspace. Yeah, that has been Israel's go-to strategy for a very long time, which is control the sky and you'll control the war. So I'm not a military strategist and I'm not in the Air Force, so I have no idea, but it makes a lot of sense that if you control the skies, you also control how things happen on the ground. You guys should have kept Greta Thunberg. Yeah, I don't think she would want to stay. Maybe for a quick falafel and then back to Sweden. I don't know what the deal is with Greta Thunberg. Is it Thunberg or Thunberg? I think it's Thunberg. Pronounced Thunberg. I don't know. I have no idea what her deal is. I don't know. I've seen the memes and I've heard other people's opinions, but I myself have no idea what she's doing. All I know is that anybody who comes from the outside illegally in a boat, yeah, you might be kicked out of the country, you might be arrested because it's a war zone, an active war zone at that. And so what exactly was she expecting, or they, the 12 people? I have no idea. Hey, my father is here. Hello, father dear. Good to see you. Let Sweden have her. Yeah, I mean, look, again, I don't blame anybody who lives outside of the region or outside of Israel who blames Israel. I don't blame them for thinking that way. I think that if you watch the propaganda and the news that's being pumped out, that's what you're going to believe. If you are fed a rigid diet of anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, pro-Hamas propaganda, that's what you're going to believe. If you keep taking it in, it will affect the way you think. It will affect the way you view the situation. So if people in Europe, with their long history of war, they have some nerve, but let's grant that and say if people in Europe want to tell Israel what to do and what not to do, the very least, okay, is that they should be here and not speaking from there. And so if Greta really wanted to come and help the poor Palestinians and so she should have found perhaps a different way. She should have gone through proper diplomatic channels. She could have joined the aid efforts, ongoing and previous efforts. But she decided to do that, and I don't know why. I wouldn't presume to know. Maybe for the cameras, maybe for the provocation, maybe she genuinely, inherently felt that this is the right way to go about it. I don't know. But I definitely don't blame outsiders for hating on Israel or for being ignorant of what things are, right? How things actually are. And I'm not a holier than thou person. I'm not saying only I know the truth and all of you are wrong. Far from it. But I do know what I've experienced in civilian life and in the military, and I know what I'm seeing here. Ugh, and it's, let's say that, as I say many times, and I repeat this, every live stream recently. Yes, Israel has made mistakes, but they are certainly not the bad guy. And I don't speak in absolutes, but people in Europe, I think, definitely tend to speak in absolutes in the case of Israel and the Muslim Arabs here, especially, right? People in Gaza, people in Judea and Samaria, and they seem to think that there's some sort of a magic solution. They seem to think that people here share their values and share their ideas and their concepts of right and wrong and their more liberal views, let's say, when it's exactly 180 degrees the opposite, or very close to being the complete opposite of modern day Europe. Modern day Europe has the European Union. What more do you need, right? Even though people say it's dysfunctional and incompetent or whatnot, I don't know. I know very little of such things, but I'm sure it's done a lot that, on the side of good. And the mere fact that a continent like Europe can have a union and come together and end the wars by and large in the mainland, right, in the continent, that's an amazing thing. That is nothing short of, I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle that after so many thousands of years of war in the area, there is actual peace. And so people now growing up can't sometimes even fathom the idea of war. Like in your face, people shooting at you, rockets coming in, missiles being fired, war. Being shelled every single day, like up north and down south in Israel. They seem to think that there's some sort of a diplomatic solution. They don't understand truly, and I understand why they don't understand, right? That many times the Arab world, not necessarily even the Muslim world, but the Arab world understands power and strength and brute force. This is what they respond to more often than not. This is what they react to. This is what they respect. This is what they have a relationship with. They have established a relationship way back when, right, with conquest and with the power of the sword and with living by the sword. And I'm making a broad generalization based on the history of Arabia and the history of Islam. That is not to say that there are not people who are pacifists, who are moderates, but they're simply irrelevant in these cases. They really are irrelevant because I don't see many people marching in Gaza from the local population against Hamas. I don't see many people marching, not even against Hamas, but to stop whatever's going on there and to, right, take it to their leaders. And supposedly, if they were elected diplomatically 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago, Hamas, if they were elected diplomatically, democratically, in a democratic election, the people should also have a say. But Hamas cracks down on them with an iron fist, and they are stuck. The real, actual, innocent civilians, I don't know how many there are, but the actual innocent civilians, the real innocent men, women, and children, are between a rock and a hard place with the IDF here and Hamas here, and they're just being squeezed like in a trash compactor in A New Hope. And for those who are literally innocent and just victims of this war, this ongoing war, I feel for them. I do. I don't know what can be done. What can be done is that Hamas surrenders, returns the hostages, and we dictate peace. We make peace. Let's continue here with the chat. What scriptures do you draw strength from in times like this? Well, in times like this, I draw strength from scriptures at large, meaning our history, which is written in scripture. And More than scripture, I take strength and draw strength from the covenant that is between Israel and Adonai. I draw strength from the knowledge that there is a bond that will not be broken, and Israel may be reduced to a handful of people and in a faraway land after being banished and destroyed, but we will always be there, and there will always be a bond between the divine revelation and the people of Israel. That is what I draw strength from. I draw strength from my brothers and sisters around me who are standing firm, who are not running away from the people who I know that are still in reserves and in mandatory army, right? Conscripts. I take strength and draw strength from the people who, up until a short while ago, let's say, up until a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, I don't know what, were protesting against the leadership every single week. And then when the war broke out and they were called, and as they are being called back again and again and again to serve, they do it. They do it. They do not hesitate. They do it because this is the only place we have. This is it. This is Israel. This is our home, ancestral home, current modern day home. It's worth fighting for. Now, as I also mentioned before, the mere fact that we need to fight for it is a travesty and it's awful, but that's simply the reality. There's no escaping the fact that even before the state of Israel was established, even when the Jews here were few and far between, there was always a Jewish presence here, which means that there were always people trying to take out the Jewish presence here with pogroms, right, and with different attacks. And so I draw strength from history, past and present history. And as far as scripture is concerned, the Torah, simply the Torah, where all of this is foretold and written. You know, you don't if you forsake the covenant and if things aren't done, you will be kicked out. You'll be kicked out, and the covenant will not be broken, but you might. And I draw strength from the mere fact that the state of Israel was established. And even though there are those who say that it was born in sin, being a secular socialist state and not a halakhic Jewish theocracy, it's still, I believe, the physical foundation upon which the spiritual substance can be poured, like the dry bones in Ezekiel, as I've mentioned before. So there is no specific scripture. I try to study the weekly Torah portion almost every day, if not every day, almost every day, and go through it. And so I draw strength from the Torah week by week. I draw strength from, on a personal level, right, from the fact that I need to be strong for my family. That also gives me a lot of strength. People, it's not some sort of amorphous thing. No, these are my kids. This is my woman. These are my brothers and sisters around me. That this is why we are fighting, because there are enemies out there who want to take us out all the time, each day, every night, coming together, devising ways to get rid of us, to bomb us, to wipe us out, to stab us, to burn us, to drive us into the sea. So I take courage and strength from scripture and from unfolding history and from current reality. Ugh. Yeah, my father said, let Sweden have her. Even from what I've gathered, when she was here and about to be deported, she turned to Sweden for help. And the Swedish diplomats or somebody up there, one of the higher ups, said, no, she kind of went against the rules and we've got nothing, there's nothing we can do for her. Robert, what scriptures do you draw strength from in times when things are bad, by your definition of what bad might be? And other people out there, those in the chat, I mean, what? I have 3 people watching and 2 likes, and I thank you. It's so nice to go live in the middle of the day. It really, really is. Let's, as long as I'm here and going live between the bombings, let's go to the chat from when did I? It was 10 days ago. I broadcasted 10 days ago. I don't know if it was my last broadcast, but I think it was the conclusion of Hebrew Nazarite Awareness Week with the Torah portion of Nassau. And I was on for about an hour and a half, and I didn't get through the entire chat. So Sneezer and Rusty, you know what? That was 10 days ago? Okay. Sneezer and Rusty were going back and forth in the comments and in the chat, in a previous chat on a live stream, and I reached out to both of them in the DMs. Rusty said that it's my responsibility to get rid of racism on the channel, in the live stream chat, and in the channel at large. And he said that YouTube, I said, if YouTube didn't want people to say certain things, then they would censor it from the beginning, right? Algorithmically, in the code, I don't know what, that you simply cannot use these phrases and it gets bleeped out, it gets asterisks, whatever it is. And so he said, no, YouTube gives you a platform and it's on you to maintain the integrity of that platform. Rusty said that Sneezer is being racist and that it's on me to check his racism and not let it become, well, not let it be in the channel. And I said, did I mention this last time? I don't remember if I mentioned it last time or not in the last live stream. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I said that being rude and ignorant is permissible. Being racist and hateful is not permissible. And so Sneezer apparently said something about Pakistanis not showering. And I said, okay, well, we need to actually see, do they in fact, on the ground, do they not shower? Is it part of their culture? Is this something that is there something realistic, right, and actual and factual upon which Sneezer is basing this claim? So Rusty said, no, he's being a racist and you should not allow racism in the channel. He said he is vile. And Sneezer said, no, I'm not being vile. I'm being truthful, not hateful. And that this other dude, Rusty, is simply trying to silence me and censor me. And that over the course of history, those who try and censor others are not usually seen as the good guys, he said. Or so I'm paraphrasing. Now, I still don't know how to approach this because Rusty's idea was I enjoy your channel and I don't want to participate if there's racism. Also, all it takes is for one or two users to flag it as racism and your channel will be again deleted. Right? You'll be kicked off of YouTube and your channel will be removed. I don't want that to happen, right? And so I'm kind of on the fence because I do want to keep freedom of speech as a clear and present thing in this channel, right? I don't kick people off, I don't boot people, I don't censor people, I don't mute people, I don't block people. I've only ever blocked one person in a DM, and that's because he would not stop calling Israel Nazis, and I was like, no, that's not what's happening here. But okay. So in the chat, you know what? I'm not sure. Did I actually have? Hang on a sec. No. Where was the other? Right, content. Okay, let's see. Did I have another live stream since? Because I may simply be I may simply be repeating. No, I had a live stream 10 days ago, and this live stream that's going on now. And so maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't recall. But either way, people, what do you think? A person makes a YouTube channel. He is a content creator. Is it on him to block racism in his channel? Is it on YouTube to do it from the beginning, from the get-go, and censor things before they hit the feed or the chat or the stream or the comment section or I don't know what? Presumably, YouTube does give content creators a certain amount of leeway and freedom. And then if they turn around and betray that freedom and go against the terms of service, the community guidelines, only then will YouTube intervene. Supposedly, that's how it works. And so, yes, I suppose part of it can be laid at the feet of the content creator. But what if it's somebody who's external, somebody in the chat, not the content creator, him or herself, that are spewing the racism or the hatred or the incitement to violence, but people from the outside is right in the chat, in the comment section. Is it on the content creator? Can that be laid at their feet as well? Is it YouTube or is it the creator of the channel? I'm not sure. And it's not that I don't want to take responsibility for the channel. It's like if you tell me if it's proven to me that yes, it's on me. And Sneezer said, by the way, in the DMs, he said, look, if you want me to stop participating, I'll totally understand. I didn't say yes or no. I kind of left them both on red to their last things I haven't reacted yet. I wanted to sit with it a while, walk with it a while, and see how I feel about it. And so I'm also throwing it out there to you. What are your thoughts on it? What's your interpretation of Psalm 75:8? Asks Robert. So first, let's see it in the original context. Right. First of all, we'll read from the JPS Tanakh version. JPS Tanakh 75, verse 8 of the Psalms says. Wait, verse 8? Yes, 75:8. The JPS Tanakh. For God is judge. He putteth down one and lifteth up another. Okay. You know what? No, you don't use the JPS Tanakh. So because you don't use the JPS Tanakh, which means that the first verse is 0, not 1 for you. Whereas in the Hebrew Bible, it's verse Aleph, 1. So I'm thinking you mean 9. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. Surely the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall drain them and drink them. Right, so wine, first of all, that idea of the revelation of God and the two hands, left and right, the idea of the cup as something which holds, something which is poured into it from on high, right? The cup needs to get something poured into it from from the top to the bottom of the cup. And gravity plays a part here, which is also why the dregs end up at the bottom. So the cup that's in the Lord's hand is twofold, right? The hand of the Lord can be left or right. The cup can be one that's filled with the wine of sanctification, right, and wine which makes merriment and joy and happiness, and wine which elates the soul and which heightens the individual. And on the other hand, there's wine which causes you to sin, wine which causes you to forget, wine which causes you to vomit and lay there in your own filth in a way which is not respectable and not desired as far as worship is concerned. So wine is also, in part, they say, what caused Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, to perish when they came too close to the divine revelation, and they were taken out by the fire of God. So wine has this dual, right? Wine has this dual role, and the hand of the Lord, Yad Adonai, it's Adonai, right? Hold on, let's see. Now I will look at it in the original Tehillim Ain Hey Chet. Okay. No, I said Ain Hey, not Ain Chet. Ain Hey, so that's 75. Hold on a second. Tehillim Ain Hey. Here we go. Tehillim Ain Hey. Yes. Kichos beyad Adonai. Right, so it's Yod Hey Vav Hey. V'yain chamar male mesech. Vayageru mize. Ach shmarei yimtzu ishtu kol rishai haaretz. Okay, so this cup is in the hand of Adonai. And Adonai is a name which is not one of judgment. Right, Yod Hey Vav Hey, in that sort of spelling and with that punctuation, it actually is the middle pillar. It actually is closer to the hand that's giving. Let's put it that way. And so the cup has the wine, and the wait, hang on a second. Yes. So we have the wine itself, which is good, and we have the dregs, which are bitter and not good, both coming from the same cup. The hand that is in the wine that is in the cup that is in the hand of Adonai, it's doled out to the people. And depending on who you are and what you do in this world and how you conduct yourself, that will determine whether you drink from the wine or have to partake of the dregs of the right. Do you drink the sweet wine or do you partake of the sour, bitter dregs of the wine. Oh, come on, man. Fall asleep. It's difficult. It's difficult for the kids. They're up all kinds of crazy hours, and it's very difficult. Okay, so Robert says no, it's on YouTube. We know you're not racist. Proud Zionist here, says Robert. It's on YouTube, you say. You also said, what did you say? Sneezer and Rusty were cracking me up that day. Yeah, so I was reading, pardon me. I was reading part of that chat. I'll continue with that chat, but wait, let's see. Let's go first here. Right, so also, it's not a cup of pure wine, right? It's wine that is mixed in with another drink, right? Male mesech, vayager mize. So there's a cup, and let's see the translation again in the JPS Tanakh. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, yain chamar male mesech, full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, vayager mize. Surely, right? Achshmareah, the dregs thereof, all the wicked shall drain them and drink them. Achshmareah yishtu, yimtzu yishtu, kol rishei aretz. Okay, so you have that cup that holds the good and the bad. It's a mixture. And that cup is poured out. Or, it doesn't say that it's poured out, it says vayager mizeh. It means that it's, well, some of it, let's say, is poured out. And the righteous folk get a taste of one thing, and the wicked folk, let's say, get a taste of another thing. Now, that goes together with the previous verse, right? With for God is judge. He putteth one down and lifteth up another. Meaning God is judgment. There's a facet of judgment. There's a revelation of judgment, many of them, but in this case, right? In this case, what is it? Ki Elohim shofet, right? What does it say? It doesn't say Adonai shofet. It says Elohim, right? It doesn't say Lord is judge in the JPS. It says God is judge, meaning that we have the name of Elohim, which is judgment, and we have the name of Adonai, which is harmony and the middle pillar. And that coming together of both of those, it means that there's judgment that goes out from Elohim. And inside of the judgment, it still splits in this case, right? The hand of Adonai has that cup, and the wine in the cup is also split, where you have the liquid and you have the dregs. So my interpretation is that you do you. You will be judged by your actions. You will be judged. Now again, there is a revelation of God's judgment, which is random, chaotic, and very, very imprecise, as opposed to being very surgically precise. Where again, you're a wonderful human being, and you're good to your neighbor, you're kind to others, you tithe every month, and you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, and boom, something gets you and you die. Does that mean you were bad? No, it means that there is a kind of calculation of judgment that goes beyond what we see. And it also means that there's a kind of judgment that doesn't discriminate the righteous from the wicked. And if you're there at the wrong place at the wrong time, life will get you. Now, what happens afterwards and all that, far be it from me to know. But reality definitely has shown us time and time again, even right now at this very moment, there are many people suffering unjustly because life is suffering. But if we take this psalm, right, and Elohim is judge, and Adonai holds the cup. See what I'm saying here? You need to take it in context. And these two names have two meanings, right? Okay, so that's my on-the-fly interpretation. I draw strength, he says, from 1 Chronicles 28. Let's see. Be strong and courageous, and do the work. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the temple of the Lord is finished. Okay, so this is presumably David before his death instructing Shlomo on what will be and what he ought to do, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, David is about to die. That's what I figured. Be strong and courageous and do the work. Ken. I mean, before that, he says, "V'chazakta v'hagita leish," right? Be strong and be a mensch, be a person. And there's a line in the oral traditions in the book in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers, as it's known, where it says, in a place where there are no people, make an effort to be a person. I draw a lot of strength, he says, also from David and Jonathan, just the men they were. I think I need to stop. Yeah, I think I need to stop. Well, I've been on for almost an hour. Better than nothing. Hopefully I'll see you again at some point, at some time. I don't know when. And I want to end on may war and bloodshed be taken away right now at this very moment. May death itself be lifted out of creation, and may we merit coming back to that tree of life and partaking of it as a unified, free human race. But if war is foretold to rage on, at least for now temporarily, then may Israel and its people be victorious, and may the innocent civilians of Iran, may the innocent men, women, and children of Iran not be harmed, and may the regime be toppled over and replaced with a peace-loving leadership. May we live to see good times, better times, with no more war, with world peace, with world love, coming together as brothers and sisters of the same species, despite our differences and despite our failures of the past. We have a bright future ahead of us if we can only make it happen. And once again, to just bring it down to the ground here, I hope and pray that Israel will stand strong, its military, its intelligence, its agents near and far, and those who risk their lives, who are foreigners, who risk their lives for Israel, all over the world. The double agents and the spies and the whatnot that are working for Israel, may they be safe and may they be able to give us that intel so we will be able to have precise military strikes and not harm civilians who are innocent. God willing, I will see you again. Not sure when, not sure how. Peace. Goodbye for now from Jerusalem.